Call of Duty Black Ops 7 has asked the question, will players care if we reward their most dedicated achievements with AI-generated art? The answer, judging by Steam reviews and player counts, is overwhelmingly yes. Everyone cares. Even Congress has decided to weigh in, sounding the alarm bells over the latest Call of Duty's use of AI art for their calling cards, which are essentially a badge of honor that displays on your player profile, rewarded to you after you complete certain challenges. Activision hasn't specifically come out and said these are AI-generated images, but they do disclose the use of AI on the Steam store page. So whether you find these dollar store Ghibli-style illustrations important or not is besides the point. Because what matters is that this is just one of the many signals the video game industry has sent us lately that employ a lazy and needless use of AI. Activision claims the goal is to streamline, not replace. But we've seen this before. Remember Black Ops 6's marketing images with a zombie with 6 fingers? If they are trying to replace artists, they're not doing a great job at hiding it. And they're far from the only company looking to boost shareholder value at the cost of, well, everything else. My name is Paul, this is Load and Behold, and before we circle back to Call of Duty, I want to jump to Arc Raiders, a new extraction shooter from the studio behind The Finals. Calling it a hit might be an understatement. It's nearing 500,000 concurrent players on Steam alone, something this genre hasn't seen in years. But people seem to forget, or simply don't care, that Embark Studios openly uses AI text-to-speech for some voice lines. They claim they use AI for work voice actors might not see as valuable. That's their reasoning, not mine. And that raises a few questions. Is it really that hard to pay someone for their work? How long does it actually take to record a few lines? Just like an AI calling card cheapens the reward for COD players, AI voices cheapen the contribution of voice actors. Would people feel differently if voice actors were paid and consulted before their voices were used in an AI context? Well, CD Projekt Red had to deal with this when making the Phantom Liberty expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. When the actor for Victor Vector passed away, they had a choice: recast the role or try something else. They went with something else, a combination of a new actor's performance blended with an AI recreation of the original actor's voice. Crucially, the difference here is the family of the deceased actor gave permission and declined compensation from CD Projekt Red, seeing this as a way to honor him. There was no real backlash, and that's probably because it was handled with care and with everyone's blessing. Which brings me back to a bigger question. Where exactly is the line where consumers decide to grab the pitchforks over the use of AI in video games? The reason I ask is, in Microsoft's case, you can't have workers angry about being replaced by AI if you replace those workers with AI. Basically, this is what happened at King, the Candy Crush studio where employees were laid off after they developed an AI tool to speed up level design. Look, this is recent history. Microsoft is pouring money into AI, up to $80 billion, while laying off thousands across its gaming divisions this year alone. Projects have been canceled left and right, and this comes immediately after Game Pass pulled in about $5 billion just last year. Massive profits mean massive shareholder expectations. Microsoft now wants a 30% profit margin from the Xbox division, which means cutting anything or anyone that looks like deadweight. But Microsoft isn't just a gaming company. Its servers power AI systems like ChatGPT and Claude. So what about studios that are just gaming companies? Krafton, the South Korean publisher behind PUBG, recently declared themselves an AI-first company. They're also rolling out a voluntary resignation program. If Krafton rings a bell, you might remember the Subnautica 2 controversy, the confusing takeback on the promised $250 million in bonuses to the original creators. As a result, lawsuits followed. And the CEO of Krafton reportedly asked ChatGPT if there was a way to avoid paying these developers their money. If AI doesn't give you the answer you want, at least firing it doesn't put any real people out of a job. Let's move on to EA, which at one time was one of the most hated companies in America. They are also pushing AI aggressively. Leadership is encouraging it internally, and we already have cases where a QA worker experimenting with AI summarization tools was laid off and replaced by the tool itself. You'd hope studios would slow down and think not just about the tools they're using, but the people they're replacing. I'd love to tell you there's a silver lining, but right now, greed is driving the AI conversation. Tim Sweeney of Epic Games and Unreal Engine fame talks about AI as a productivity boost, but what players are actually seeing are layoffs, inflated CEO paychecks, and game prices creeping higher every year. The studios racing to replace people with AI might end up replacing themselves in the process. Back to Call of Duty. In their case, the AI calling cards feel like the last straw. And when you pair that with an always online, unpausable campaign, the franchise's use of AI to streamline might be setting itself up to hand over the top multiplayer shooter spot to the competition. Ultimately, consumers need to make a choice. If you really want to play Arc Raiders, for example, the AI voice lines might not matter to you. And if you don't care about calling cards anyways, maybe you'll buy this year's Call of Duty regardless. But my problem is AI is not going away, and it feels right now like its primary use is to cut corners, cut costs, and cut jobs. But here's the part that actually gives me hope. People do care, because whether studios like it or not, players are voting with their wallets. And if Call of Duty's reception is anything to go by, the community is already sending a signal that's loud and clear. But as always, I want to hear from all of you. What is your line in the sand when it comes to AI's use in video games? Like and subscribe if you can, and as always, thanks for watching.